Hey gang, it's Powerhouse Pam Waters of Soul Advantage Mobile Notary, and my special guest today is none other than Elaine Wright-Harris, one of my favorite mentors in Mary Kay, and now she's doing big things as a notary agent, signing agent. She has trusted agent services. She's just doing it all. So I want to welcome to Maryland Coins, Miss Elaine Wright. Hey, Miss Elaine.
Hi, how are you doing, Pam?
I'm so great, and I'm excited to see you today because y'all, I saw her on a YouTube video last year, and she was my final decision to become a notary because I had just been laid off, and I was just looking for some things to do. And so I saw Miss Elaine. I was like, "Is that Miss Elaine?" I said, "Yes, that is her." So she is the reason why I decided to become a notary. So it's just prevalent that I have her here today so that she can share you her journey and y'all can ask them some good questions. So go ahead, take it away, Miss Elaine.
All right, thank you, Pam. And you all bear with me. This is my first time ever on the Facebook group. But it's exciting and learning about all the Facebook groups. I hear from people, but this is my first time ever being involved in the Facebook group. But what I like to do is tell you just a little bit about how I got started in the business. And the entire business has to do with Notary Public and also notary signing agent. And as an instructor that I have grown to be, I would love to work with you a little bit today on notary work, answer your questions, because I am a stickler for doing things the right way, and notarizing is my forte. Okay, but it was back in 2002, and some of you may already know, when someone came to my home to do a loan closing, and I just thought it was interesting. I remember back when I got the phone call, and at that time I was working, and the title person said, "We have someone to do your closing. He can come to your workplace or he can come to your home." And wow, I never heard of that, coming to your workplace. And so I did offer him to come to my home, and he came to my home, and after about 45 minutes, he was finished. And in my mind, I was saying, what does he do? He only said 2 sentences, and they were sign here and notarize here, right? So I looked at it, I said, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "Well, I'm a notary signing agent." Then my next question was, "Well, what do I have to do to become a notary signing agent?" He said, "Well, I suggest you learn how to be a good notary." And then I said, "Well, what do I have to do to be a good notary?" He said, "They teach classes at Prince George's Community College right down the street." Oh, okay. So I immediately signed up in June of that year, 2002, to take the notary class, me and my husband. And then the instructor was ill. So June went by, July, August, finally in September, I got a call saying, "Oh, they're teaching the class." I'll never forget, it was September 7th. And the lady who taught the class, nobody really taught notary public procedures in Maryland, not that much, not back in 2002. And so my husband and I went to her class, 5-hour session, and it was nice. And then about 2 weeks later, I get a call from the coordinator of workforce development, and she wanted to share with me that the instructor had passed away. But what was interesting too is that she knew nothing about me. She just looked at the class evaluations, and out of all the class evaluations, she decided to pull mine and call me and share that with me. She did not ask me to teach classes. She just wanted to share. The next day I thought about it, and I looked at my husband. I said, "Hey, look, you know what? We can fill that void. We can teach this." And now he's saying, "Now look, took me out to a class. Now you're trying to get me to teach the class." But to make a long story short, before the end of the year, we were teaching Notary Public procedures at Prince George's Community College, whereby we started off with 1 class, and now we've developed many, many classes. And not only that, we conduct an annual Notary Public Day where I invite speakers in from all around the country to share their knowledge with you also. And the next year, in 2003, I became a signing agent. I'll never forget my first closing. I feel sorry for the lady. I had to go back to her house 3 times, but I got it done. And I learned a lot. But as I go along, I teach others to do what I do. And I started that immediately, not only teaching at Prince George's Community College, but also teaching others to become a signing agent. In 2003, I became a signing agent. In 2004, I attended my first notary conference. And that was exciting. That was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And that's when I saw this person who was the Notary of the Year. That was exciting. And then in 2005, I was actually selected one of the top 5 notaries in the country. So I became the NNA Special Honoree. And as time went on, 4 years later, I was actually awarded the #1 notary in the entire country out of about 5 million notaries in the country due to my teaching and working with others. I became a notary ambassador in 2009 also. And for the past 10 years, going on 11 years, I've been teaching title insurance producer continuing education classes and also the pre-licensing classes. So I am an approved state provider of the state of Maryland. So it's been quite a journey. It's been quite rewarding. And I stay excited all the time. and my husband is also, he's been a full-time signing agent since 2003. And I've been the signing agent since 2003. However, I retired 8 years ago from Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. And then that's when I put everything into the notary training. Now, what has done this is mainly setting goals. And Pam, I know you've heard this. You can't chase 2 rabbits and catch one.
Yes.
I have been laser focused on my business and what I do and working and learning and teaching and staying positive. I find that a lot of people fall by the wayside or get things a little mixed up when they're not positive about what to do, but I keep a positive thought framework in my mind at all times that keeps me going in the business. So that's a little bit about me. And also want to tell you, those of you who have signed up for the National Notary Virtual Conference, I want to make sure that you don't forget to attend our workshop. I will be teaching a workshop with the she is one of the top 3 notaries in the country in 2020. And her name is Wanda Moore, and she is online today. And we will be teaching traditional versus remote notarization. And a lot of people have this conception about remote notarization. We have done extensive study on that. We also teach it for the community college, but we're looking forward to teaching it at the virtual conference. So if you're registered for the conference, you want to make sure that you actually visit our workshop for that. All right, so now you know that as of October 1, 2020, new laws came into effect. That was the first time that Maryland had done an overhaul of their notary procedures in about 65 years.
Wow.
Now, I often ask people, and I'm going to ask you, and I want somebody to answer me, how many notarizations are there in the state of Maryland? Can anybody tell me? How many different notarizations are there in the state of Maryland with the new law?
6.
Marlene, you know, because you're one of my students now. You don't say you were just in my class, but last week. But in case you all don't know, there's 6 different types of notarizations that can be performed in the state of Maryland. And the other thing that you want to be aware of is, it was not there before, but now we can attach loose certificates to the different types of notarizations. If you did not know that before, that is very, very key. Wanda, I'm gonna see if Wanda online.
Yes.
The notarization you did the other week for the will and what was that? Did you have to do a loose certificate for that?
No.
Okay, you didn't have to do a loose certificate. Something just came up, or something comes up all the time. I know somebody contacted me. She had just done a loan closing, and there was a document in that closing, and the document required that this is in a loan closing package. Normally we do acknowledgments and drafts. But this particular document required a loose certificate. So I am very adamant about your understanding this certificate and the certificate wording and what it means, because that is going to help propel you. Now, the reason why we do things correctly, or you strive to do things correctly, because you never know when that 1 in a million chances that something may be challenged. So that's why it's so important that we do know the law. A lot of people, in addition to the traditional notarization, and when I say traditional notarization, I'm talking about the notarizations that we do face-to-face. Also, you've heard of electronic notarization. Well, electronic notarization falls under traditional notarization, because even though documents are signed electronically, they're done what? Face-to-face. And then there's that remote notarization. I want to let you know that it is evolving. It's only been approved, what, since October of 2020. And sometimes people think they can go and jump right on it.
Right.
I advise you to just look at it all. Even though from one of my favorite companies, I did get a call. I think it was just, it was Friday maybe. I got a call saying, we are working on remote notarization in your area, and we want to know if you're interested. That is coming. And you will have a choice in choosing between, well, or doing both rather, working with a company with their platform, which is great because now you're using their platform, or you can have your own platform. Wanda and I, we have our own platform too. Just that, as you know, right now, it's not beneficial or it's not profitable to have your own platform at the present time. But we have our own platform because, again, if you're teaching something, you need to know how it works.
Right. Yeah, that was, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, because that was one of my questions, because I did sign up for Ron, but I haven't proceeded with it because I wasn't sure if it was profitable for us in Maryland. And I'm glad to hear you promote that product.
Yeah, the way it works, like for example, if you're going to sign up to do it independently, you're going to pay a certain fee with the platform, for the platform. They can be over $300, for the registration fee and the annual fee. And then there's a fee for each notarization. Their fee, that the company we signed up with, their fee for notarization was $10 per notarization. And I made this very clear with the Secretary of State, how much can we charge, even though we have our own equipment, we have this and that, $4.
Wow.
But it's okay, because things are going to evolve. We're working on a bill right now whereby they can actually see what we do, what the expenses are, and we'll work that out.
Ooh, please let us know when you work that out, Ms. Lane, because I'm ready to do Ron. But I didn't see the profitability of it if we can only charge 4, as you just said. So when you get your stuff finalized and approved, please come back and let us know.
And the company that called me saying that they will be starting Ron within the next couple of months. Of course, my question was, how much is your fee?
Right.
And their fee wasn't what I thought it should be. But when I was talking about it with my husband, when we thought about, when we really looked into it, well, first of all, let's see, we don't print, number one.
Right.
Number two, if we were going out to somebody's home, that's probably at least an hour in travel time.
True.
And then the expense for gas. So I got to look at it differently, you know? I have to, weigh it differently. The wear and tear of, and even though you go to someone's home, how much time does it take you to get ready to go to someone's home? You have to just take a look at all of that and weigh it. So like I say, it is evolving, and as it evolves, our thought process has to evolve too.
Are you going to add that to your coursework?
I sure am. Yes. Yes, I am.
I have another question. So
yes,
I missed the registration. I missed the registration for the conference. It's closed, I understand. We're done.
Yeah, as far as I know, it is closed. Who knows? They might open it back up and they get more seats, but it is closed, yes.
Why is it closed if it's on the Zoom platform?
Well, it's really a different platform they're using. I'm not sure it's on Zoom. They using a different platform and probably really making it conference style. So we don't know, but it did close out. But if I find out it's going to reopen or anything, you will be the first. Pam, I will let you know.
Please let us know.
And then, of course, you're in my database, so you're going to know Carmen anyway.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And then,
I'll let somebody else ask the question, and I'll be back.
Okay, now, of course, you know that I always have an event and I share with you what we learned from the conference, too. You will learn, what you need to know from the conference. All right, any other questions?
So this is the part where I say, well, this is Maryland Coins, where we explore various opportunities in notarial services. This is Miss Elaine Wright. So please unmute yourself because we are very interactive. She feeds off your energy and we feed off your energy. So if you have questions or compliments, because a lot of you are in her group, so this is the time to praise her. So
no.
Yes, we are. We're gonna praise Miss Elaine. So I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, Miss Elaine.
All right. Well, look. Let me ask a question then. All right.
I don't know. I know that.
So you don't know what?
I might not know the answer. Go ahead.
Since you all aren't talking to me, I will talk to you. All right. Okay. Now let me ask you this question. This has to do with notarization because that's the basic. And of course, the signing agent is. I mean, one of my students between January and April, I believe, had made $48,000, so, but being laser focused. But let me ask you a question. Suppose somebody brings you a document to notarize and the person has signed that document, but the document has no notarial wording on it, It has no, like state of, county of, on this day. How would you handle it?
So everybody unmute, especially those who've been in Miss Elaine's class. Well, do you want your group to not answer?
Oh, no. It's
okay. So anybody can answer. So you can unmute and come on and communicate with Miss Elaine. Who has the answer?
Hi. I think I have the answer. I wouldn't touch it because it doesn't have any notarial words in it, and it's already signed. Okay. So my job is to make sure that I witness your signature and that you sign it, and I have to have proof of your ID and who you say you are.
So then, did you say you would do it or you would not do it?
I would not do it.
You would not do it. Okay. Anybody else?
This is Damien.
Okay.
I imagine it could be handled like an acknowledgement with a loose certificate.
So you're saying you would notarize?
I would, yes.
And then you're saying the type of notarization that you would do would be an acknowledgement. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay, we'll hear from somebody else. I see Sharice Gregg. Is that Sharice Gregg here?
Wait, yes. Yes.
Any day now, sir.
All right, anybody else want to answer that question?
I'm here, Miss Elaine.
I see you. I see you. How you doing?
Sorry for being late.
All right, anyone else want to answer that question? Somebody hand you a document to notarize. If they had signed the document and you see that the document has no notarial language.
Can I answer? Hopefully I'm right. I don't know. Let me answer again. So I would actually still present to them the acknowledgement and the jurat. If they choose the acknowledgement, you can still proceed with it, even though they've already signed it. But if they use the jurat, I would have to have them re-sign it because I thought that you had to have a jurat and have them sign in front of you. That's my answer. I would do it if they chose.
So you would do it, and you would look at an acknowledgement or a jurat, and
I would have them.
I think Damien said he would look at an acknowledgement, and then I think Tanya says no. Tia says she wouldn't do it at all. All right. Anybody else have any comments?
I kind of agree with Pam and Damien. A mixture of the two of them.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's
And was Keisha gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I'm gonna be embarrassed if it's wrong because I've been a notary a long time, but very basic things. I would say I can't notarize anything if I didn't see you and sign it or verify your identity.
No. Oh, if you didn't see them sign it, you would not notarize. That's what you're saying?
Right.
Oh, okay. So do y'all want to know the answer?
Mm-hmm.
What's the answer, Miss Elaine?
All right. First of all, somebody, if they bring your document, it has no notarial language on it, yes, you can notarize, number one. Now, but the thing is, what type of notarization? And if you read your Maryland handbook, you would perform what we call witness and attest. Y'all know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Witness and attest means that you would actually witness them signing the document if they haven't already signed it. Well, you will witness them signing the document. If they have already signed the document, then you will attest to the fact that that is their signature. And you would attach a loose certificate. And there is a loose certificate for each type of notarization. I do have them on my website where people can go and download the certificates if they like. But if you haven't done so, you want to keep those certificates with you at all times, especially if you're doing notarizations for the general public. But yes, you can do it. So Pam, you can do it. Okay. Now, the only way that you would attach an acknowledgement or, now I think you said jurat. And I
said I will let them choose, but go ahead and answer.
Okay, so in the state of Maryland, it's acknowledgement and then it's verification on oath of affirmation, which is the same as a jurat, but that's what is called in the state of Maryland. Now, they have loose certificates too, but normally or ideally, the signer would have to request. Okay, and most of the time they don't know the request, so you're going to do the witness or attest. Yes.
So when you mentioned you have to attest that this is their signature. How do you verify that if you don't personally know this person?
Well, you will have their ID.
Oh, just go by the signature on the ID.
Right. The way we verify, their ID in this. That's how you do it. Okay, let me tell you something. Let me tell you this story. These two gentlemen came to me, wanted something notarized. And this is when I was working and I had them meet me in the cafeteria. And so when I went there, one of them wanted notarized, two were together. So he handed me the document and it was the most neatly typed document I had ever seen. So nice. And then, all right, if somebody gives you a document to be notarized, what you do, well, when they give me a document to be notarized, I take it and I put it to the side. Because the first thing you do is what?
ID, verify identity.
Right, you get their ID. Okay, and that's what I did. And then the next thing you do is what?
Review the document.
What did you say, Marlene?
Yeah, you review or scan the document.
No, that's not the next thing. What's the next thing?
Record the information in your journal.
That's right. You record the details of the information in your journal. All right.
That's not fair, Wanda. That's not fair, Wanda.
Wanda, she called you out.
I was just trying to be helpful.
I must.
Wanda got an edge on y'all, but that's not fair, Wanda. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
On order, the way things are done. Now, so you record the details in your journal, and then you take a look at the document. And so when I look at a document, I look at a document in two parts. You want to look at it, the signer's portion and your portion.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever else falls in between there, you have nothing to do with. How do you know where the signer's portion is? That's the signer's signature and what is above. And the purpose now of looking at the signer's portion is not to read it. It is to scan it and make sure there are no blanks. That's the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now these guys, he gives me the document, no problem. I wasn't trying to read what he had and didn't have any blanks. And then my next step would be to take a look at the notarial language. And when I looked at that notarial language, something was missing.
Mm.
Now, let me tell you all the story about an acknowledgement. How do you know when you do acknowledgement notarization? Well, an acknowledgement tells a story. And the story goes like this. At this location, on this day, before me personally appeared the signer. This is how I identified the signer, and it was done willingly. Now, if that story goes beyond that, something's going on. So I'm reading the notarial language and it started talking about other stuff. Like he was a sovereign citizen and he was this and he was that. I knew nothing at that time about a sovereign citizen. I just knew that it went above and beyond the story that an acknowledgement tells. Just like when you go to Giant and you buy food. When you leave out that store with that receipt, you're gonna know what Giant you went to, who the manager was, what time you were there, what items you bought, what were on sale, who the cash register person was. It's a receipt. And just like our notarization is a receipt of what we do. And I could not give him that receipt because he was asking above and beyond what I was acknowledging. So I looked at him and I said, okay, now the next thing is, what do you tell somebody if you're about to refuse, right? So I looked at him and I said, sir, what? If you can bring me this document back without this wording on it, I'll notarize it for you. Oh boy, he was really upset, very upset. Anyway, so they left. Now, couple of things. Number one, he could have went and reported me to the Secretary of State office saying that I refuse his notarization. And by the way, though, when he left, then I recorded in my additional comment column of the journal why I refused, right? But let's say he had gone to the Secretary of State's office and the Secretary of State had demanded to see my journal entry. Well, then the Secretary of State would have seen everything that I said. they would have even seen why I turned it down. That's why. In the order of doing things, someone presents you a document, you get their ID, you record the details in the journal. Suppose I had waited to record the details last. Well, he would have been gone.
Right. Makes sense.
So that's very, very important. Now, the other thing that came out of that was about 6 months later, someone came to my class and she said, the Secretary of State asked that I come to your class, and he had done something. And then I had to report back to them that she had attended. But she had had the same kind of notarization and she didn't know the difference. And she notarized it. And she got called on the carpet for it. However, they realized that she just simply didn't know what she was doing. So they didn't penalize her. They just said, we will suspend your commission until you go to the class at Prince George's Community College.
Oh,
So that's why it's so important that you know what you're doing here and then understand it. And by the way, all you would have to do is look at Prince George's Community College and see the different classes that you can actually take and earn your certificate, which really looks good on your resume. All right, any questions about that?
so Ms. Lane, do you have that on your website for them to go to, or they have to register straight through Prince George's County? Do you have a link for them to sign up?
Yes, I do have a link on the site. And they can just go to Prince George's Community College too and register. But yes, I do have everything you would need.
So tell us your site, email address.
Email address. Well, can I put it in the chat?
You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put the email address as well as the website address in the chat box, and that way, you know, they can copy and paste. So let's see, was there anything else? I'm just a stickler though on the notarization, and also on when you do your closings, be as professional as possible. There is a certain way that one can negotiate prices. When I retired 8 years ago, I had 3 companies. I had narrowed down to 3 companies that I work with. Now I've worked for like 20 companies at a time. When I first started the business, I went to Baltimore. You name it, I went there because I was building my confidence. And then when I retired 8 years ago, I have been doing business for 10 years. And I had narrowed my scope whereby I don't go 10 miles beyond where I live, but I had to work to make that happen. And then I decided I would only work with 3 companies. And those 3 companies, you know, they pay varying prices. You have to weigh, you know, what the benefits are for the companies you work for in order to meet your goals. I'm very goal oriented. And my friend Wanda Moore, who's online now for about 5 years, we worked as signing agents and we traveled around the world, Egypt, South Africa, Australia, no matter, we went there with our signing money. So you have to set some goals and make it work for you.
So are you open to sharing those signing companies, or is that a secret society?
It's not a secret. When people come to my classes, they get all that stuff.
So you have to go to her class to get the information. That's what she's telling me.
No, I can send you. There's no problem because the thing is just being the best that you can be. That's the thing. So we're here to share. So that's not a problem at all.
So can you walk us?
Can you just clarify the pricing of General Notary Work? As you did that for me, it was by email, but I want everybody to hear from you how we're supposed to price our General Notary Work.
Well, you mean what the state says?
What the state says. So if you could clarify for all of us, because I think a lot of people think it's by the stamp, and you're about to share exactly how it's posted.
Okay, all right, let me do this. Okay, I just my website and my email address here. Okay, as far as fees are concerned, and this again is by the Maryland Handbook, make sure you download it to your smart device, have it with you at all times. The way the fee works, it is $4 per signature. Now, not per document. You could have one document, and if 4 people signed, then that would be 4 times $4. So it's $4 per signature, okay? And if you travel, you use the IRS mileage rate, and the current rate for 2021 is 56 cents per mile. It could be 56.5, but it's something like that per mile.
Right.
Okay, and you can charge up to a $5 admin fee or a travel fee. And that's what it is. I know you hear people doing lots of things, charging lots of money, but that's what the law says.
This is Damian Ransom, Ms. Elaine. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of general notary work, what is a document that would have more than one signature in general notary? What would something like that look like?
Well, I remember, okay, like one of my neighbors, her mother had passed and they were getting the estate settled, and she and her brother and sister, anyway, by the time they left here, I think the bill was like $90-some with, you know, with the different documents that they had that had to be signed. I also was contracted with an attorney's office, whereby I would be there from 9 to 12. And no matter whether or not.
Yeah, I got what I did with it though.
So
If you're asking a question, please mute yourself.
That wasn't me. That really wasn't me.
I know that.
Whereby whether one person came in or 100 came in, I was paid a flat fee, you know, like $250 or something back then. And so, but that was on a service fee between me and the title office. You know, I was not going one-on-one with the General Public. So that's what it is. And I looked at General Notary Work as giving back to the community, because I didn't do that to make money. And when I was working, the neat thing about it is I worked next door to the clerk of circuit court in Prince George's County. Mm-hmm. And many people went there thinking that they could get documents notarized, because that's where people get the marriage certificates, death certificates, or whatever. And they didn't do that. But they had made an arrangement with me to send everybody to me. And I had made an arrangement with my supervisor that as long as it didn't interfere with work, I was working on behalf of the state. And I strongly feel to this day that no one else has done as many different kinds of notarizations as I have in the United States, because everything came to me, every single thing. But that made me strong in the field.
Miss Elaine, you done segue right into, oh, go on, ladies. My fault. I won't be up. Go on, ladies. Go on. I'll wait.
He's such a gentleman.
Thank you so much. My question was, can you just walk us through what you basically have, but just walk us through beginning to end? So for me, I took your typical pre-licensing class first. Now would you suggest I take a general notary training before I move into the NSA training, and then I'm out on my own?
Well, okay, as far as the order of things, that's up to you. But before you go out on your own, you would definitely need the pre-licensing and your license, of course, and the notary training. And I tell people, notary. Oh yeah, because see, now you're dealing with lender documents, and they don't want that notarization coming back there wrong. You mess up on that deed of trust, that is a recordable document, that is a time-sensitive document. But yes, and like once you get your license and you let me know, then there's another list that I send you, letting you know everything else that you need, a checklist.
Okay. I just want to say again, I passed the TIPIC test.
I know, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Congratulations.
I thought I was going to die, but I didn't.
You still live.
That's a great feeling.
So it is. So my next thing is I will look for how to notarize class on your website.
Yes. And you know, I send out my newsletters and everything. So I have all of that information in my newsletters that I send out monthly.
Okay, I'll be right there. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is Miss Elaine's website in the chat?
Yes, can you see it? I did put it in there.
Okay, I thought that was your email. That's your chat.
Both of them. I sent both of them.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
If you want to be on my email list, just let me know.
Hey, Miss Elaine, it's Sharice. Can you talk about the I-9 form? Because a lot of notaries don't know too much about it.
Okay, this I-9 form usually has to do with somebody applying for a job, and it could be in another state or something, but this form has to be filled out. It does not require notarization. However, a notary is, if you look at it, the fine print, a notary is authorized to actually sign that document, make sure it's done correctly. Yeah.
And so that doesn't have to follow the state pricing, correct?
Well, that document does not have to be notarized. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, you are right. You are right, right. You can charge a fee for that. I usually charge $20. Mm-hmm.
That was the reason why I wanted you to bring it up.
But yes, that is separate. Oh yeah, let's talk about apostille.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, this is another subject, you know, the apostille, and the purpose of an apostille is when documents are going out of the country, okay, and in order for them to be recognized or acted upon, they have to have this seal from the Secretary of State's office. Generally, it is the signer's responsibility to see that it goes through each step.
Mm.
But there have been notaries that sort of create a service, like, you know, whereby they will take it through the different routes that it needs to go to. For example, I'll never forget when I was first introduced to apostille, this guy come running to my office at work and said, "Oh, I need a notary because I have an apostille document going out of the country, and I done been to 2 notaries and they were rejected." Well, then of course that scared me right there. Okay, so looked at the document, and you know, and I notarized the document. And just because someone wants an apostille, it does not change the way you notarize. You notarize the same way. However, his next step was to take it to the clerk of circuit court, so the notary can be authenticated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember he said 2 of them had been rejected. And I'm saying, what? Whoa. And what I found out was he was from Anne Arundel County, and he got his friend who was a notary to do the notarization. And then when he took it to the clerk of circuit court, he took it to the clerk of circuit court in Prince George's County. I'm not sure why he was there. And you know how when you become a notary, they put your name in this book. Well, but now things are more automated. Well, when he presented it to the clerk in the Prince George's clerk of circuit court, well, her name wasn't there. Her name was in Anne Arundel's clerk of circuit court. So that's why the first one was refused. And then the second one, they told him, well, go to Bank of America up the street, and there's a notary there. So he went there, and then when he came back to the clerk of circuit court, well, her commission had expired. So that's why that was rejected. So that's when I got a good understanding about that. And then after it goes to the clerk of circuit court, whereby the notary is authenticated, then it goes to Annapolis, okay, to the Secretary of State's office, whereby they will make sure that the county is in good standing. So that is a process, and then they put their seal on it, and then it could go out of the country. His reason was he was getting married in South America, and he was trying to give his brother power of attorney to take care of some affairs before he got down there. So yeah, so you can do apostilles, but there's competition. So what I would do, I would go online and Google apostille in this area and see what it looks like if you're trying to make a business out of it.
Ms. Elaine, do you offer training for apostilles?
No, but I do know someone who does offer training for apostille, and there is a great write-up on the website, but I do know someone, so just email me, and I can connect you there.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, you all had pretty good questions. Pretty good questions.
I have a question for you too. So I haven't heard back from this person, but I notarized something for somebody in Prince George's County, but they had to turn the documents in to California. Was that a problem?
So are you saying the request came from out of California?
Right. It didn't say that anywhere that it had to be signed by a California notary. It's just everything that the address they had to return it to, the business, everything was in California, but this person was in front of me in PG County. So for me, I felt like, well, I'm a notary of PG County. I can sign it in PG County. But how does that affect the person who has to turn everything into California?
Okay, what you want to understand is that anyone can bring you a document on your territory. You are authorized to notarize, and and if they bring it to you in Maryland, you're going to notarize according to Maryland rules and regulations. Now, how it may affect them once they get back to where they are, most of the time it won't, but if it does, that's up to them. That's up to the requesting agency.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, you are authorized to notarize any document that someone brings to you in the state of Maryland.
Got it. Thank you.
Maryland is your territory. Now, is there anyone that had their handbook downloaded on their smart device? Or printed? Okay. Or printed?
I have mine printed, but I just made a mental note earlier to put it on my smartphone and on my iPad.
Okay. Now, did you know that in your handbook, it even tells you exactly what you're supposed to say when you're advertising?
I don't think that I noticed that.
Yeah. Take a good look at that. So now you all know also that I teach students how to build their own websites.
I do. I've seen it on your page.
Yeah. So therefore, you know, once you get going and everything, and everything is an expense. It look like these days. One morning, I woke up. I said, "Now, why don't I teach students how to build websites?" Because right before I got into signing agent business, I had gone to school for 2.5 years, twice a week at night, Washington, D.C., learning to be a web designer, which I was, and I loved that, but I love this more. So, and sometimes I would do websites for students. But I say, why don't I teach you how to do it? You only have to purchase, you know, your website builder. So that, and not only that, I give you the wording and everything. All you have to do is learn, and you can do it in 4 hours. You can do it in a day and build your website. Marlene, you have your site, right?
I want to see.
How important is having a website, Miss Elaine? How important is it?
A website establishes you credibility. You don't have to have it, but it looks good when you're doing your business cards or you're doing things and people looking you up. That's why I thought it was important that I teach you how to do it.
Okay.
So you're not spending a lot of money in trying to do that. And the package that I promote costs you $5.99 a month. And
I can afford that.
Right.
I thought I couldn't afford a website.
I know, you know, probably you had to go to school and all of that. That wouldn't be of interest, but I teach you how to do it. And so I do have a free demo on that. And also I'm teaching that also for the National Notary Association. So that would be in their virtual conference also. But I do it. I teach it to you at least once every 3 months. But even if I didn't have a demo, the way it's structured and the information I send you in writing, you could do it yourself. But when you're ready, I'm just letting you know the different things that are available. But that looks
so I purchased my GoDaddy thing. So you're just saying you could just help me make it look official now.
Well,
or is that
that's if their process is the same as the one that I promote.
Okay, so I would have to buy something separate to utilize yours?
Who knows? It may be saying, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but it's geared to the package that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to Maryland Coins. Our guest today is Miss Elaine Wright. Unmute yourselves. Give us some great questions because it's almost 5 o'clock. But we're going to have a lot of questions for. Go ahead, Jackie. Oh, I thought somebody was talking.
I do. Question.
Okay,
Miss
go ahead.
Any classes or any information on the remote notarization from Maryland?
Yes, I do teach classes at Prince George's Community College. Wanda and I, we have a great class going over the traditional, the electronic, and the remote. And I'm also teaching for the National Notary Association. And not only that, with you being on my website, you will get all the updates.
Okay.
You know, and you heard our discussion earlier, right?
I missed it.
Okay. So right now it's evolving.
Okay.
Or, you know, and so when you look at remote, you want to look at it in terms of working with the title company, because they are really benefiting from it. You know, when they can just, whoo, that's wonderful. And then you want to look at it from the possibility of your own independent business. Right now, as for our own independent business, we're still evolving there. So it can be profitable for us. At the present time, it is not. But it will be.
Okay.
It will be, you know, things just have to evolve.
Okay.
Ms. Elaine, I want to ask you about that, about running your own business. Is there a form? Somebody mentioned was it a I-9? But what tax form, when you start this business officially, what do you present every year for your notary business?
So now you're saying, when you say present, are you talking about for tax?
Yes, for tax purposes to the IRS.
Okay, there are a couple things. Number one, just for starters, anything you spend money on in relationship to your business, you save the receipt. You don't know what category it's in. So you want to save that. There are what we call those packages that will track everything you do. And so let's say you're a signing agent, you can purchase a package. One is called Notary Assist. That's on my website, whereby everything you do, your mileage, how many notarizations, everything, you can track it. And at the end of the year, it's a matter of printing out a document and taking it to your accountant.
Okay.
Prior to that, we just use Excel, Microsoft Excel. And there's certain fields that you want to capture, and you just jot it. And that's what I would suggest until you do start using a tracking package. Go into Microsoft Excel and just make a notation of all your business expenses. Now, what I do now, before I get to my spreadsheet, sometimes I have a folder, electronic folder. It's called Receipts Business. And of course, I have one called Receipts Personal. But the one that says Receipts Business, anytime I get a receipt, like you go to Staples, you have a choice of getting a receipt in hand or getting it both in hand and through your email or only your email. I always email. And then I save all of those receipts in my receipt folder. It's just a matter of tracking. And then you want to find yourself an account. Then there's also an article that I publish each year that's written telling signing agents what they need to be aware of and get ready for their taxes too. So if anybody wants that, just send me an email.
Are you familiar with the, for instance, I have a travel business and I listed under the NCAIS. That's just basically categorizing what kind of business you are in the industry. So is there something like that for notary?
I'm not sure about that, but what I am sure about, there was one young lady who, you know how like if you have an LLC, she had her business description written up, whereby no matter what kind of business she offered in Maryland, it would all fit in that one business description.
That's what I was doing. Okay, that really answered my question right there. Thank you.
Okay, right. And I do have that just in case you want to see it. Because I publish these things in my newsletters so you can always be educated. And I always tell people, I may teach you the class, but I'm with you always.
That's good to know.
That's truer than you know when I show up at your house with my U-Haul, because you got a lot of stuff I need to learn.
That's my girl, Carmen. I learned from you, Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen usually has a lot of questions. I guess because she's always in your presence. She doesn't have a lot today, so I'm surprised.
I asked all my questions today. I will say I'm so focused on what to do first. You know, when I was studying for this, my pre-licensing the class, when I was studying for that test, I couldn't do anything else because I was just focused there. So I can't do a whole bunch of little things at one time. My goal was to pass that test. Now my goal is to, that's why I asked what would come next, because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, that I'm studying the general notary work or that I should be doing the loan signing thing. But I don't have the kind of brain that can just go back and forth doing different. I got to do it in stages. Yeah. And I'm unemployed. And so I have a small window of where I have to get this off the ground and running. That's why I asked the question, lay it out for me. What do I need to be doing? Because I'm always working towards something, but I want to make sure I'm working towards the right thing.
Okay.
That answered that question.
That's great.
So, Miss Elaine, this might seem like a really silly question, but what do you keep in your notary bag? Or when you did notaries? You, Elaine, Miss Elaine, what are the good things to have in your notary bag?
Oh, in my attache?
Yes, ma'am. Your attache. Sorry.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's who I'm talking to. Your attache. Sorry. Yes.
I'll show you. Hold on a second.
See, Pam, I just did a checklist of this, everything to take on a general notary. So that was an excellent question. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to know what she got.
Okay, so this is my attache that I carry. Well, of course, you know that we not only do we have a notary stamp, but we have a ticket stamp too. Okay, but you learn all of this in class, you know. So Carmen, when you come to your first class, you'll learn all of that. And then, of course, my glasses, and then of course some lotion.
I need some of that. Yeah.
And then I also keep, if I can find it here too, because when you, well, I don't know if you can see this or not. Wait a minute. Y'all see that? When I would go to people's homes and stuff, depending, I put on my footies.
Oh, I don't have that. That's a good idea.
And so those are those kind of things. But of course now, I no longer carry a paper journal because I use an electronic journal. And so that's what I use for, doing my notarizations. And then I have my little bag with all my pens. But of course, right now, I'm encouraging them to use their own pens. But I do have all my pens in here. And then my Clorox wipes and my hand sanitizer. And just in case I was working with someone who may be challenged visually, I would create this template, and I will always have it just so they can sign right here in the little rectangle. So I try to have everything that I need with me at all times.
So when do you use your embosser? Because I bought one, but I haven't used it. So
okay. And also, this is my ID that I created. I show everybody how you can create your own identification. Can y'all see that a little bit there?
Mm-hmm.
And you would create this, and this will only cost you about $13. You can just create it the way you want to. And so therefore, you know how sometimes you go to somebody's house and they look at you and say, show me your ID. I say, okay, I'll change that. So I keep this around my neck.
I just made one. I'm so excited.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I
Oh.
gotta send it to you. I just made one for myself, and I wear it
please,
when I go to
wanna
General
see
Notary.
it. I do want to see it. Now, somebody asked me a question. I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
I said I have an embosser. So when do you actually use it? Because I bought it, but I never used it. The little.
Okay. As far as the loan signings, we know the ink stamp is preferred, but
Mhm.
I do notarization for the general public. So I have this one. Oh, that's not the embossed. Make sure you
I
read
was
it.
gonna say, I thought it was me, but okay.
So here's my embosser.
Uh-huh.
And so for general notary work, which I do all the time, and you just got your commission in September, right?
Yeah, well, December, but yes.
All right. Well, I've had mine for 19 years.
Ah.
So, meaning that people know that I do notarization. So I'm quite often doing notarizations for the general public. And look at this. Y'all, okay, so you know that. Now, did you know, if you read your Maryland handbook, when you do an embosser, it's supposed to be colored. You're not supposed to leave it embossed like that anymore. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I have an ink pad. That's it. I had an ink pad to go on top of it.
Right. So this,
Yeah, that's what I use for
this
DC.
just got this, whereby it's an ink embosser, highlight embosser, where I can just put it on if I do this, with my embosser. So you want to be prepared at all times.
I need to get that.
What was that again? Show me.
It's an inker.
Yes. They call it.
That was mandatory for DC, and so
Yes.
that's the other thing. I gotta keep my
Right.
DC in there.
Mandatory for DC, but
Yeah.
this is an ink, an embosser highlighter. That's what it's called.
And
Okay.
DC also had the Durat
and
stamp.
from the National Notary Association. And I even bought the ink
Yeah.
here. So when I run out, I can be ready. I put some more ink in it, my ink stamp.
So for those of us who have an embosser now that are using that, we need to get that ink stamp there to go over that or in place of that.
Okay, now you're talking about the highlighter?
Yeah, to the color. I've never heard that before, that you had to have it in color.
Well, what you would do, you would emboss,
Mhm.
and then you put the highlighter on it, and then the raised edges would be black. And the whole purpose is that if you're scanning it, faxing it, or whatever, they will see it. But that's also new in the Maryland handbook too.
So one time, I don't know if someone stole it or I misplaced it, but I didn't have my embosser at one point some years ago, right? And I just bought another one. Was I supposed to report that? The loss?
Now, did you say you lost it?
I can never be for sure if I lost it or somebody took it, but I just didn't have it.
Yeah, you should have reported it. Has it passed the time frame?
Oh yeah, it was a while ago. I returned a rental car and I think it could have been left in there or somebody could have.
Okay, now did y'all hear about the Kinko's story?
No, ma'am. Tell us about it.
Whereas these two gentlemen dealing with real estate went into Kinko's, and as a result, now Kinko's do not have notaries. But anyway, they went there to have something notarized. Okay, and the gentleman was there, and that's all we know. 2 or 3 years later, the gentleman get called to court because these guys have his signature on a document and his notary stamp. He said he didn't do it. How could it have happened? Well, we do know that he had to get up and go to the copy machine. But nobody knows what. But the bottom line, he had to end up settling and paying $30,000 because he did not protect his tool.
Wow.
So it's very important that we keep up. And so if something like that should happen and you do lose your tool of the trade like that, make sure you report it to the police and to the Secretary of State's office.
So I hope he had, what was it, E&O insurance or surety bond or whatever. I hope he was covered.
There's a difference between E&O insurance and surety bond, and the purpose of the E&O insurance is to protect us from our notarial errors. Purpose of a surety bond as it relates to title producer is to protect the public. All right, just in case, you know, because as signing agents or as title producers, we're able to collect funds and stuff at the table. And just in case we run away with the money, that surety bond will reimburse cover the signer for their losses. And then they'll come after you after that. But surety bond relates to title. And then E&O relates to notarization, which covers both, doing it for yourself and for title work.
Miss
So do you
Elaine, I do
recommend
have
that?
a question. I'm sorry, this is
Okay.
LaShawn. You can go
Okay.
ahead. Do you want to go first?
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, so my question is for some of us, we've ordered stamps from NNA and it gets quote unquote lost and we don't receive it. Is that something we should report?
You mean
Because
you
if
never
the
get it
NNA
in the, you never
yeah,
get
like
it
they
in the
said they
mail?
sent it out. Yeah, they said they sent it out and then we don't receive it. Do we need to report that to the state?
To me, if it's your embosser, yes, and it has your numbers on it, yes, and they say they sent it, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then reporting could be like sending an email with that information on it. Because sometimes we don't know what happened to the email once the other party gets it.
Right.
So you have your documentation by making sure you do it not by phone, but by email.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And there is a contact person that I had at the Secretary of State's office that can handle those things.
Okay. Can you is there any way I can get that information from you?
Yes, just email me.
Just send you an email. Okay, thank you.
Well, Miss Elaine, this is wonderful. As always, you've been awesome. I thank you for everything. I have to leave because I'm actually at a birthday party and they keep telling me to come in. But this was far more important to me than that. But I'm just leaving and I wanted to say thank you. And Pam, you know, you're my girl. You're so good to us. You keep us informed. She sends out, if somebody can't do a notary, she sends out to see if somebody else can. So she's passing jobs along. And so you both are just priceless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All
and
right.
I gotta go. But, you know, you'll see me again.
Thank you. I learned from Miss Elaine long time ago, so she trained me well as a 20-year-old. So.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
Happy birthday. All right. This is Marilyn Coins. It's about that time. So if you have any questions, concerns, or comments for Miss Elaine, please come forward now. You can unmute yourselves and ask some great questions. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nakia.
Hi, Miss Elaine. I have a quick question. So that are behind you, are you able to share with us what type of printers you have?
Yes, I have a brother printer. I have a brother all-in-one printer, right? That's the big printer here. And then I have just a little small brother printer that I paid for probably 8 years ago, $50-some, and it still works really good. Sometimes there's a question between a single tray printer and a dual tray printer. And it doesn't matter really, the choice is yours. I always have a single tray printer because I invest in a software called Page Separator. And with that software, it actually reads your file and it divides them up into legal and letter size file, PDF files. And then I print from there. And sometimes I use both of these printers to print. Because if you notice, when you get a set of loan documents, out of about 100 pages, only 20 of them are legal, probably. So I would print the 20 pages on the smaller printer and the 80 pages on the high speed printer. So now, but I feel that all printers are good, really. What you want to look for, number one, is the laser printer. Number two, does it print at least 44 ppm, 44 pages per minute? Those are the kind of things you want to look at. But I have had brother for a long time.
Thank you.
Can you tell us where you get ink from?
There is a site. Check this site out and see if they've gotten kind of big now, but it's RAKUTEN Rakuten.com,
Okay.
where I would go and get compatible ink. And I haven't had to get any ink this year because I bought a lot of it at one time. And by getting compatible ink, whereby my ink the cartridge may cost $100 some, I could get it for like $30. So, and I never had a problem. And there may be sites, like if you did a search for compatible ink and then try it out, and if it works, then it'll save you a lot of money.
I have one more embosser question. So I always thought that embosser was the principal tool, but you're saying in loan signing, you don't have to have it. They want the ink stamp.
Right, and if you read the Maryland handbook, it will tell you that in the state of Maryland, there is the embosser and the ink stamp. And one is just as good as the other.
Okay.
And that's the way it's always been in Maryland. Yep, so you learned that today.
Yeah, because that's why I freaked out when I lost the embosser. I'm like, that's my primary tool, but who knew I could have still kept going just with the ink stamp.
Yeah, they both carry the same weight.
Okay.
Question, do you recommend getting all your stamps and things from the NNA, or is it okay to get it from like a third party?
Well, I get most of mine from NNA, and then sometimes I'll get it from Staples if it's I need something real quick. But now, like the notary stamp, Staples has changed their policy whereby you have to bring it in. Anyway, it takes a couple of weeks now for you to get it. You just can't get it made on the spot anymore. You have to bring your commission in and everything also. But generally, NNA usually know exactly what we want, and I do order from them.
So, Ms. Lane, do you offer trainer type of classes? Because I would love to be an NNA trainer one day. So, do you offer those type of things that for us who want to take it to another level?
Okay, haven't done that before, but now, you are a member of the National Notary Association?
I am.
You participate in their conferences?
I have not.
You know, because they're going to be looking at you.
Oh,
you know what I mean? They're going to be looking at you. So you want to, and you learn from others, you know, as you become more involved. And so this conference for $59 would have been great.
I'm gonna lie, I missed it, Miss Elaine. So that was.
So if I do hear, you know, who knows, they may say we got more seats or something, because I don't think they were expecting it to close out so fast. I will let you know.
Please do.
Because when I did, I was going, but when I went, it was sold out. I was like, and I think I saw it on your site, because you sent it on your email. I think I saw it on your email. I was like, that's what you get for procrastinating, though. Because when I went to get it, it was sold out. But continue. I'm sorry. I get excited sometimes. Go ahead.
Well, I am gonna have to go, because you know what I'm doing now? I'm
right.
You're working. Well, no, I'm working on revamping my notary class as far as PG is concerned. And I create a video site and everything and put it in my class. So I'm gonna have to get back to that. There's always something going on in this business. I
appreciate your time. So when you decide to do trainer, you know, I'll be your guinea pig. I would love to. Because that's how you train us in Mary Kay. So I would still love to learn from you.
And look, that's a neat thing. Train the trainer, okay.
Train the trainer. So I'll be your first one to class. Please pick me.
Right.
I want to thank Miss Elaine for joining Maryland Coins today. So any final comments, questions, because she has to go because she's a busy lady.
I have one question. I would like to make my ID, and I noticed your ID had your photo on it, but what other information do we need?
Does it have on it? All right, okay. So, and you can put whatever you want. It's let's see. Where can I upload that here? I don't know. But it's first of all, I have my business name at the top. And then I named it identification badge. And then to the right of my picture, I have my name, and then I have my title. Like I have Notary Public, title insurance producer, independent contractor. Then right below it, I have an NNA logo. And let's see. So you can have what you want right below it. See those logos there? So you could have it's the NNA one and the NSA one if you wanted to.
Go ahead, Miss Lane. You got your QR code on it too. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is
most
smart.
of my training now is through the QR code. So if anybody wants this badge, just shoot me an email and I'll send you information as to how you can create your own badge. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Pretty neat. And for the price, the plastic cover comes with it too. See, this comes out and then I just stick it in the plastic here. I did have to purchase the chain, but otherwise, that's just a neat way to identify yourself.
All right.
Elaine, I have another question. With me having a dual notary, am I able to put it all on one badge, or is it, I guess, is it preferred to have one for each state? Because, you know, for Virginia, they have an actual commission number versus Maryland, we don't have one.
I think I would have one for each state due to the fact that it's only like $13 or $14.
Okay.
You know, I think I would keep it separated. And then you could try it with both. I'm not sure, you know, because you're creating this. For the price, you know, you probably can go ahead and get two. And then you can put any type of holder around it. Mine just happen to be chain. Yours could be something else. So this was really great coming up with this. Now people don't ask me, let me see your ID.
Thank you. I'm lazy, so I'm gonna let him do mine.
Right, I'll do her, but but you know, I've never been asked for my ID. So you present it.
Well, definitely when you're doing loan closing.
Oh, I ain't there yet. Sorry, Miss Lane. So
definitely when you're doing loan closing.
At that level, we're gonna get there. But I'm gonna end it right here. So thank you, Elaine Wright-Harris. We really appreciate your time, and I just appreciate you as a person. So
and I want to say thank you to you, and I think you're doing a fine job. Like I said, this is my first time on a Facebook affair here, and it was very nice being with everybody.
See, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt, right?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. So you take care, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. See you next.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Y'all stay on. I'm just ending the recording. Hold on.